how do you really want to be remembered?
Just someone that stood up for biblical truth. Just that. That's, someone that stood up for biblical truth and took all the heat that went along with that. And, I guess if I want the world to remember, I want the credit that, and this is just a worldly ego thing, but I believe I'm the best sports writer maybe ever.
If you thought this ego-driven narcissist was done with the BS, just wait.
What makes you the best?
Most sports writers never take on the super serious issues and explore, make that part of their brand. That, hey, look, there's issues from Colin Kaepernick to racial issues to, I feel like I've taken a lot of bold stances. And so I guess if I were to refine it and remove myself from it and be more Christian, I want to be remembered as like, oh man, Whitlock was the boldest sports writer ever because of his biblical worldview, because of his faith in God, because of the way his grandmother discipled him. And that just made him an elite sports journalist because most serious journalism is done outside the world of sports. That's always been true.
Yeah.
And if you actually look at this era of sports writers, I apologize for this sounding narcissistic and arrogant, but I look out and see all these people trying to mimic what I did, and they're doing bad versions of it.
To say he's delusional is quite an understatement. Of course, that would not be all.
I don't find Stephen A's political talk authentic.
No, I don't either.
And so I don't know what to make of the heat he catches, because I don't know why anybody would give him much heat about his political positions, because they change so often. And so I get people like, I got a biblical worldview that doesn't move. ESPN has given Stephen A an audience, and they can take it away. When they get ready to take it away from Stephen A, it won't exist. I'm not trying to simply diss Stephen A, but without ESPN, it all goes away.
You don't think people follow him?
No.
Why?
Because he's inauthentic.
Well, that man Whitlock brings up would respond.
This same dude, ladies and gentlemen, working over there at Blaze Media, trying to come across as he's some paragon of virtue, and he brings up God a lot. Tell me what's God-like about what he does. He talks smack about people. He ventures into the personal. He swears up and down he knows stuff he can't possibly know. He does all of these things. And he hides behind a cloth of truth. This is what he's trying to swear that it is, but never telling the truth about himself. How were you acting before you got a job at Blaze TV? What proclivities did you have, Jason Whitlock? We could talk about other people's personal life, but we don't want to get into yours, right? Looking like a damn walrus. This is who you are. The lion that you are.
And he would not hold back now for a second time.
There's a reason why Stephen A pretty much won't leave ESPN unless they push him out, is because he has no audience without ESPN. He's done whatever is necessary to make as much money in this business as you possibly can. There are people that actually do still stand for something in the media, and he's not one of those people. And that's why I think if you take the ESPN name away from him, what's he really saying that people are interested in? He's now running around pretending to be some kind of political analyst, and he just spews talking points. It's clear as day.
No,
His
thanks.
book is written as a prelude to him running for president.
There are people who say, why is Whitlock so obsessed with Stephen A? Whitlock's jealous of Stephen A. Why does Whitlock talk about him so much?
Because he's important. He's running for, in my view, the presidency. He has acquired a lot of power at the most powerful sports media platform that we have here in America, ESPN. Stephen A is important.
Keep this in mind when hearing this.
Who you working for? And by the way, you're working for them. Why? Because you can't get a job anywhere else. How come Fox won't hire you? How come ESPN won't hire you? How come CBS or NBC won't hire you? How come you can't get a real job? You don't talk about that. This is the kind of stuff that happens. He has gotten to a point where if you look at him, the only way he's making money is off of talking about me. He talks about me all the time, y'all. He talks about me all the time because you're not where I'm at. You know, you the dude that slide tape recorders under hotel doors to try to listen to athlete conversations. That's the dude you are. You're the dude that sit up there and lie all the time, every chance you get, and go about the business of undermining people in your professional career. There's a reason, ladies and gentlemen, you can say what you want about me, but you notice that you'll see me at basketball games, you'll see me at football games, you'll see me at boxing matches, you'll see me at UFC matches. You know why you don't see Jason Whitlock there? Because he can't show up in public. Because he's scared of what's going to happen to him. He turns on everybody. He will lie. He will deceive. He will do everything. Satan is his father. When I said what I said about him, he tried to call Winston-Salem State acting like I was lying about having a basketball scholarship. At least that's what they told me. Do you know what else he did? Are you ready for this? Put Kevin and Josh back up on the air because I want to see their face when I said this. Do you know he called my pastor? Pastor A.R. Bernard from the Christian Cultural Center in New York. Jason Whitlock called him trying to get him on the show to talk about my personal life and my personal revealings to my pastor. When we talk about despicable, how despicable can you be?
Smith would go on to say, this is who he is because he is useless. He's just blowing into the wind with the breath that he has left in his fat, blank body. This is who he is, okay? Jason Whitlock is hurting because I'm where he wants to be. When he talks about politics, nobody cares. When he gives social commentary about issues that does not pertain to one of us, nobody cares. When he talks about journalism, nobody cares. He'd continue. Remember one time he was at Fox and he was upset that he couldn't have this parking space or whatever? Why do I bring it up? Because it's a funny story. Because he wanted to look and see what parking spot it was, and it was a parking spot for Skip Bayless, and he had a problem with it. What he didn't tell you, I almost croaked, because he got on his knees to look under the car to see whose parking spot it was, and his big behind was struggling to get up. That's why they still laugh about that stuff. So a few points to react to here, all right? Number one, I disagree with Jason Whitlock on almost everything that he said. Okay, my thought process has been this. The reason Stephen A. Smith wants to talk about politics and wants to dip his toe into the political realm is because he knows that at the end of the day, there is a shelf life in sports and with ESPN. When prior to the whole Kimmel thing with the FCC and Brendan Carr, what stuck out to me was when he went on Part of My Take and basically said he wants that spot. So in my view, not only is it for longevity purposes, in media, but it is also about him potentially becoming a late night show host. That is my view. I'm not saying I'm right. It's my inclination off of his own comments. Another thing that really struck a nerve with Stephen A. was the fact that Jason Whitlock called him out for writing about his dad in his book. When, if you listen to this entire episode of Stephen A. Smith's show, he says his mother asked him not to speak of his father while she was still alive. He had his own feelings, but he fulfilled his mother's wishes. The third part with the pastor is low. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of weird. As a journalist, you go and ask questions. That's fine. But if what Stephen A. is saying is true, and Jason Whitlock called up Stephen A. Smith's pastor in a position to bash Stephen A. and go in with that agenda, that is wrong. Obviously. That is very, very, very wrong. So I highly recommend that you check out both. And I will just say Jason Whitlock does sound super sour over Stephen A.'s success. I do agree with that part. Because everything that Jason Whitlock thought of himself and that he wants to be, he could never reach it. Because he's not that guy, pal. So Jason, best of luck, man. On Glenn Beck's The Blaze. That is until you piss off people like you have done at every single stop in your career, and then you just maybe do your own thing or go off into the sunset. Really hoping for the latter. Fingers crossed. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYT Sports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.